Hello, everybody. I'm Nickie Race-Jones, and I'm really excited to be joined today by Ange McDonald. And no, I'm not on a beach in Thailand. I think the black polo neck jumper gives it away, but we couldn't resist pretending we could travel in this funny old time of ours. We're here to discuss whether it is a smart time to start a new venture and factors that maybe you should consider if you are thinking about your own plan B at the moment. You may have wanted, to start your own business in the past, and, people would think you were probably crazy to consider doing it today, right? But, with the intention of our Zoom chat today is to really discuss all of that and think about where you're currently at in your life and how could you be taking advantage of your own strengths and opportunities, but also businesses that could be thriving today in today's world. So if you're just jumping on, this is Ange and Nickie here discussing about whether this is the right time to be starting your plan B and what you should be considering.
Awesome. Thanks, Nickie. And like Nickie, I have transported myself to another location today. I've got San Francisco behind me, a bit of fun. If we can't travel literally, we'll do it virtually. Thanks for joining us today. I can see some familiar faces. Hey, Andrea. Look, just elaborating on from what Nickie mentioned, the question that we're all posed with, is about, is it a good time to start Plan B? It's about evaluating where you're at and what you're looking for. Prior to all this happening, the sides of that economy, people that had a plan B or a side gig or a side hustle was huge globally. It was about $4.3 trillion US globally. And that included people that were contractors, that had those side gigs. So it was huge prior to this. But what really this jolt has done for many is the ability to just take a pause and look at what their current circumstances are and maybe develop a plan B. Looking at the way, if you're a business owner, how you're operating, a lot of businesses will be rearranging how they operate. Will they need a commercial premise? How many employees will they need? And we're in a time of a digital transformation, huge transformation. Throughout history, we've not seen anything like that. So it's about leveraging technology and moving yourself into that space if you haven't already. And we're going to discuss all that today for you. So without further ado, my name is Ange McDonald, as Nickie mentioned earlier. And over the last 4.5 years, I have been helping people create, grow and scale online business. And it was about 4.5 years ago, I was sort of in the same position as many people out there at the moment. I was looking to pivot and move out of my traditional business. Well, my circumstances were I wasn't happy in what I was doing. I had no leverage and I wanted to create more lifestyle in my life. And since then, have been helping many entrepreneurs and individuals develop their online business and create more freedom and flexibility in their life. Always been a big dreamer, always wanted to live on my terms, and absolutely have enjoyed these last 4.5 years and feel very passionate right now to be helping so many, including you guys online at the moment, to really help you evaluate and look at helping you create some flexibility and freedom in amongst all this uncertainty that's happening. Nickie, I'm going to throw it over to you. I'd love to hear a bit more about your story.
Great. So thanks, Ange. And if anyone's just jumping on, I saw a couple of new people. It's Ange and Nickie. It's the Ange and Nickie show. And we're discussing whether now is the right time to be considering either a new business or what you can do to consider pivoting an existing business, your strengths and weaknesses, all of that sort of thing. So I'm Nickie Race-Jones, and I help people, entrepreneurs, individuals and businesses grow themselves and their incomes. I've been doing that for several years now. I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur myself. I've been in New Zealand for over 20 years. I'm not currently in Fiji, sadly. But I've, mentored people inside of a business structure, and I've also bought and sold 3 businesses myself. So I've pretty much made a lot of mistakes that you can. And I also understand how you know, all the downsides of traditional business. And I think it's no more pertinent than it is today. So, but I still do believe that the only good time to start a business is now, as long as you understand that you have what it takes, you know, you have what it takes in the marketplace, and that you have what people need right now. Are the market trends in your favor? You know, where's the potential for your product or service? Is there room for growth? That's a key one, you know, and these are all the sort of factors that we're going to be considering right now. So yeah, so as with anything, you know, this is crisis time. We are on the brink of economic crisis. The world is about to go into a downturn, but out of this will be industries that will be winners, and people that, you know, will turn into millionaires because of this. So it is a question of innovating or dying. And I believe that the companies that are doing really well at the moment are the internet-based ones, which have a really strong digital architecture. So that'll be things like, you know, gaming and, you know, anything that's got online streaming, online shopping, of course, with products that people can use and consume at home, all of that sort of, you know, thing. So the space that we're in, you know, is a lot to do with health and wellness and beauty. And I heard an interesting stat about buyer behavior, that 70% of, you know, personal care and skincare products were purchased over the counter a month ago, but now obviously are being bought online where possible. So really interesting what's happening. So companies like Amazon have taken on 100,000 new warehouse staff, for example. So Ange, what's your thought about these digital platforms?
Yeah, well, just to add to that, so true. Like, you know, out of, you know, the crisis that's happening, there are industries and businesses that are thriving, and individuals that are, you know, are going to be thriving through this. My question to each of you is really, how do you want to respond, and how do you choose to navigate through this? If you're not willing to innovate yourself, so look at your own skill set, your own experience, you know, it's thriving versus sort of like just surviving. So it's about like asking yourself, will you, and do you choose to thrive throughout this and be a winner in amongst all that? But certainly the ability to have technology, and those businesses that actually are embracing technology, and you know, just the ability to have business as usual will be the winners through this. So what do you choose? If you actually just want to put some thoughts in the comments, if you're new to Zoom, in the comments section, just choose how you want to respond to this, and will you be a winner throughout this crisis?
Yeah, I think it's very much a mindset thing, isn't it? Sorry, Andrew. Yeah. If you're just jumping on, it's Ange McDonald and Nickie Race-Jones here, and we're discussing on whether it is the right time to be thinking about starting a new business or pivoting you know, an existing business, or whether you're ready for your plan B and what you should be considering. So the first thing to consider, we've got a comment there. We've got a few winners in the audience, so that's great. Absolutely. So you've got to consider, what are your personal strengths? You know, what are your strengths that you can bring to the table if you're starting a new business, or if you're having to pivot an existing business, or whether you're wanting to completely change tack and do something new in life. What are you good at? So what's your skill set? You know, you've got to innovate the F out of it, as Ange likes to say. I love that. So find your value proposition and add value to your market. So what are you good at? So obviously at the moment we've all got time, which is great, you know, to be thinking about things and, you know, and really considering where we're going and how we want to move forward with all of this. You might, for example, be a great communicator, you know, you might be someone who dreams big. These are all amazing things. If you've got a notebook next to you, start to write down things that you think you're really good at, you know. If you're very motivated to really change your financial future or the future of other people, help other people, all of those are strengths. You can be a contribution in the world. You can also, mindset is key, I think, with anything in life. And I always say 80% of any success is definitely mindset. And so you've got to have a belief in yourself and a belief in the business that you want to start or take further. So it's about being a bit of an optimist, isn't it, Ange? Really?
It is.
As well. You have to be an optimist.
I actually, you know, on that note, we were on a call the other day, and someone said, you know, a strength for many that do succeed is being an over-believer. There's overachievers, but, you know, the optimists, you know, are the over-believers and will thrive through circumstances like this for sure. And just to add to that, Nickie, you know, and probably just one step back, regarding the strengths, I don't know whether many of you have heard, or I'm sure some of you have heard about a SWOT analysis. And the strengths really is about the inner, about what you bring. And so the growth mindset that Nickie has alluded to. And I, you know, if you look at your self-leadership on how you show up every day, in amongst being in your bubble and self-isolation, wherever you're sitting, you know, how do you present yourself to that day? You know, when no one's looking, your self-leadership, and that will really count towards helping you achieve those goals and help you navigate and be nimble through this time. And rising up above the circumstances. We've been bombarded from the media, from what's happening. Yes, it's a reality, definitely. However, it's about how you rise above that, and the consistent good actions that you take will be a strength that you can embrace. Just reflecting on the last few years with working and coaching and mentoring many people, it's, you know, the common thread through the ones that do succeed have consistency, a growth mindset, they have grit and determination, and their ability to be nimble and to be adapting to circumstances is huge. One example of that, a lady called Laura, she was a partner of ours, partnering with a platform that we'll share with you very shortly. She was very much conducting her business in a traditional manner, offline, and then the emergence of the digital strategy happened, and she was nimble enough to transform her business and her strategies around that, and she thrived through that time. And it just shows with the common denominator of being open, having that growth mindset, and being consistent around the good actions will help you succeed through this. So what are some of your strengths? If you wanted to throw that in the comments, would love to see and hear from you what your strengths are to help you throughout this time.
Yeah, and now is not a time to be shy, because that's, you know, if you have particular skills or particular strengths, then write them down, because that's what's going to have you be the winner that obviously everyone on the call wants to be. So that's fantastic. Yeah. Oh, TV presenter. We've got a TV presenter. Fabulous.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, I love that, Lou. Love that.
Yeah. So, yeah, cool. So if you are just hopping on, then it's Ange McDonald here and Nickie Race-Jones, and we are discussing, you know, what it takes, or whether it's the right time to be considering starting or pivoting an existing business in this current economy at the moment, and what it's going to take, what you should be aware of. At the moment, we're talking about a SWOT analysis, and we've just been talking about strengths. So what's the next one, Ange?
Yeah, well, it's the weaknesses. So it's good to recognize what your personal weaknesses are, and really reflect, you know, just to acknowledge them. And like, certainly, you know, a lot of us have been, you know, when this first happened, it's that fear that kicked in. that fear of uncertainty, you know, what will happen to my business, or you've been impacted immediately from what's been happening. As soon as you can move through that fear-based behaviour, it will help you navigate through the storm that's happening at the moment. Another weakness, if you're wanting to pivot and, you know, adjust your business or your circumstances, you may not have the money to invest in your business to pivot, or no savings to really adjust, or, you know, might have not saved for a rainy day. Another weakness could be that you're a bit shy on putting yourself out there, a bit shy of going in front of a camera with social media, or you might be shy around, you know, just putting yourself out there at the risk of critics. And I think, firstly, we have our own worst critic within ourselves. So it's moving past that as a weakness. And then just moving past that fear of, you know, putting yourself out there. And really the rituals and routines, if you're not diligent around that, that could be a weakness, you know, that you need to recognise, that you need to pull your socks on. But obviously, if you're a TV presenter, you have no fear about being in front of the camera, Lou. That's awesome. Nickie, do you have anything to add to the weaknesses and component within the SWOT analysis?
I think, I was thinking about it earlier. I think it's really easy for weaknesses to become excuses.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, there may be things, if you acknowledge that there's things that you're not as, you know, good at as maybe somebody else, or things that you could be, or things that need to be worked on, just beware that it doesn't become an excuse. Because, you know, I'm currently coaching and mentoring a few people in our business, and you know, these are no excuses type people, otherwise I wouldn't be spending my time with them. And it's really lovely to see people overcome adversity, you know, people who've had health issues and really you know, could just give up and say, oh, you know, it's too hard, I can't work, you know, that sort of thing. But no, they want to know how that they can adapt inside of what's possible for them physically, or, you know, mentally, or whatever it might be. Got a young guy at the moment who, you know, has been in an accident, and it's actually interrupted his whole life, and he's now on a mission that he wouldn't have been on before had that not occurred. You know, I've got someone in the Philippines at the moment who has no money, needs to feed the family, all of those sorts of things. So none of those are, you know, they shouldn't be excuses. It's just about having courage and resourcefulness and overcoming whatever it is that you might be less good at.
Love that. Yeah, such good points there, Nickie. The saying that we'll leave you with and move on to our next point, it's really, the saying is, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. So it's really about bringing that into your everyday life throughout this. Yeah,
cool. Yeah, so opportunities. So the next one in the SWOT analysis is, these are external factors now. So opportunities. And, you know, there are so many people out there in the world. I think a lot of people are kind of paralyzed by fear and what's just happened and the impending crisis, or they might still be reeling from the fact that they've, you know, reduced or completely lost an income in the household, or they, you know, they might be worried about keeping their house, all of that sort of stuff. So economic, you know, things. But a lot of people also see that as an opportunity. And that's, you know, those are the people that are going to be the winners that we alluded to at the beginning of this. So, you know, if that's you, if you're looking to start something new or pivot an existing business, you know, where are the opportunities? So first of all, it might be, you know, the trends that are actually, you know, happening at the moment and that one can take advantage of. So industries that are well positioned at the moment and that are set up in spite of what's happening. As I said before, it might be those with a really good digital architecture, internet-based businesses, anything that can scale or duplicate. Those are all opportunities now for people. And all eyes are online, really. So those are, obviously we're in an age of digital transformation, as Ange said.
And personal, I'd say too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, people who may not have shopped very much online before, we're able to, shop online in New Zealand, or we're able to, it's business as usual for the products that we have. For example, we can deliver straight to people's door globally, which is amazing. That's not the case in New Zealand for all businesses, but for ours it is. But those who, people who may never have shopped online before are not going to necessarily change that behavior once lockdown or isolation is over, because they realize how simple it is. I get my food delivered to my door. I can get, anything I need, really, all the essential stuff anyway. And so I think it's changing buyer behavior. I read somewhere that it's called the Amazonification of the economy. That's kind of scary. So what do you think, Ange? And where we find ourselves as well inside of that is really
good point. I just want to welcome the guests who've just arrived. We've just actually gone through, we're doing a bit of a SWOT analysis on our current environment and circumstances right now, so welcome. Just to add to what you just said, Nickie, certainly, there are so many industries that have this opportunity in front of them, and to relate it back to the partner platform that we are part of, got that top piece, isn't it? NEC platform. The enhancement of our business, we seamlessly went to cloud last year, which has enabled us to be business as usual and thriving right now. However, an extension of that is that we actually have some of the guys from Amazon that work with us and have helped us do that. And they are harnessing these technologies like artificial intelligence to help us as entrepreneurs that are attached to the platform, help us grow and thrive around our individual businesses. And currently we've got about 1 million entrepreneurs attached to the platform and growing. So, to have that capability, that's an opportunity around that. An extension of the opportunities that we have right now, the ability to have technology at our fingertips, the social media, the platforms, and just the innovations around the products that are in need right now for people. So if you're sitting there, if you're an employee and you're looking for a plan B, this is a fantastic place to look at, diversifying and innovating the skill set around. If you're a business, it's about going, okay, what can I add into or blend or adapt? How can I adapt my business right now within this framework? Hello, Shalik, I can see you there. That's fantastic. Welcome. So, Nickie, I just think it's about thriving in amongst this crisis with these opportunities and seeing the silver lining in amongst it all and creating that leverage. So I think, for you, when you first looked at this 4 and a bit years ago, you were looking for a leveraged model as an opportunity, weren't you?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah, because I'd sort of burnt myself out in a previous business because I wasn't able to duplicate myself and step away as much as I thought I would be able to. So it's all to do with, how can you leverage not only your own skills, but the opportunities out there with these new platforms, with technology, and the trends that are occurring right before our very eyes. So really, really exciting, so we're living in, a world of transformation at the moment. And I think opportunities open up for people who can recognize this change and who choose to take action. That's really as simple as that.
Exactly. And a little quote just to finish on that is, you don't become what you want, you become what you believe. And if you can look at these opportunities, you know, with that in mind, you can create great stuff in amongst all this crisis. So, and the technology and trends are there for all of us throughout this digital transformation. So threats. For those that have just jumped on, welcome again. And if you wanted to jot in the comments, just with what's resonating with you. So what are some of the opportunities that you can see right now in amongst the global events and relative to you? I'd love to hear the comments that you've got there.
Andrea says she started buying her cat food online.
There we go. Buyer behavior change.
Who knew? That's a really good idea. I'm going to, please send me a link. Great idea. Yeah. So, yeah, threats. Do you want to speak to that, Ange?
Yeah, great. Look, certainly threats are something that we need to be aware of. And these are external forces, obviously, that impact our businesses or, you know, our lives. So when you're assessing anything, you need to look at the threats. However, I'm saying that who would have thought we'd be in these current circumstances right now? So it's about being open to unforeseen threats. You know, but looking at, you know, to adapt to these circumstances with your business model. Are you willing to move into and adapt technology if you haven't already, or enhance that? Because that is a threat if you don't do that. You know, what are your distribution channels like to move product? And I suppose there is one little sort of thing I'd like to touch on is really just, you know, there could be the threat of data, internet data being impacted. So that could be something, but certainly, you know, just to put on the radar. I think, Nickie, you spoke about 5G towers that you've sort of seen over in the UK. Is that correct? As a potential threat?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a conspiracy theory going around that 5G, the introduction of 5G has caused the virus. So, yeah, and then people...
Madness, who knows?
Anyway, we won't go there.
No.
But I think, you know, with anyone who has a bricks and mortar business, they would never have foreseen the threat that within a few days the door could be closed and your business shut and you weren't allowed to go to it. So that's the kind of external threat that, you know, nobody could have anticipated. So you're right, some of them you just can't foresee. But for the ones that you can, you know, it's a good idea to jot down what the potential threats could be if you're thinking of starting a new venture. Yeah,
totally. Just looking back, you know, when I was looking at my own traditional business, just as an example, the threat that I had in my accounting consulting business when I was reviewing 4.5 years ago was that I actually had no leverage at all, like it was all reliant on me. So at that point, I was wanting to create more lifestyle and time. So certainly, you know, over the last few years, I've been able to plug into an online business and develop leverage over that time. So that was a big thing for me. Nickie, I know you, with your traditional businesses that you've had, what are some of the threats that you identified when doing the SWOT analysis?
Oh, definitely the, you know, the time factor and not being able to duplicate myself as much as I want. I mentioned that one before, but also having to have the responsibility of employing people and, you know, overheads and a lot of capital tied up in stock and inventory. Those, when I finally stepped away, well, I sold my last business successfully, which was great. But it wasn't until I actually stepped away that I realized how stressed out I was. And I thought, I don't want to remortgage my house again to buy, you know, or start another business. So I was really clear on that. And I also, like you, wanted to find something where I was going to have more time and more leverage. And that's what we've been creating, Ange and I, over the last few years, you know, like we both, until we are now not allowed to get on an aeroplane, but we spend a lot of time traveling. I spent 3 months of the year last year sailing in the Pacific, you know, just still getting paid.
Yeah, and enjoying life.
In the middle of the beautiful blue yonder. That's why I've got this picture up. I'm pining for it. But that's the kind of, I know now that I will always want to have that sort of freedom and time where I'm not afraid to work hard for periods of time, but then if you step away, you still get paid. And that's what attracted me to our current business.
Absolutely. That's nice sort of lead into our next slide there. Just before we move into that, actually, I would love to put in the comments a weakness and a threat that you feel yourself are faced with at the moment, or some of the opportunities, lots of them, because the more opportunities you see, the better. And we'd love to hear your thoughts around that. But really, it's an extremely good exercise for you guys to move through that SWOT analysis, and really just put your mind to elaborating on this after the call. So as Nickie was saying about being on a sailing ship and getting paid, tell me more about that, Nickie.
That was amazing. I mean, that's creating leveraged income where you start getting paid on the efforts of, you know, what other people are doing. So you help other people to succeed, and then, you know, you can get rewarded for that. That's kind of, you know, the business that we're in. Because most businesses, small to medium-sized businesses, especially in times like this, I know a lot of business owners, the first thing they've had to do is stop paying themselves or take a pay cut. And a lot of people have taken voluntary pay cuts themselves. You know, or you pay yourself last before everybody else, you know, and you've still got the rent and the, you know, employees to pay, all of that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's one of the things I would hate to go back to, I have to say.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
We've got some comments coming through, Nickie.
Cool.
Gonna share some of these. Davina, yes, inconsistent with some weakness. Good to highlight that and see that for sure. Andrea, love that. Your strength and consistent, love it. Lou, time management, so juggling the family and everything else.
Four children, wow. Yeah.
And Davina, yeah, perfect opportunity. Great. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Great to hear.
Yeah, cool. So, yeah. So I guess the question then, Ange, is why are we thriving? This is a snapshot of a Zoom call we did. That's not even all the people, because there were well over 300 people on there, weren't there? Was it last weekend?
Yeah.
Global call. Really, really exciting. And it's just amazing when you get that sense of momentum and community and all of those sorts of things. So this is something that people are, you know, jumping on now because they see the opportunity. They're looking at, you know, so many people are out there looking for something else that's going to supplement an income. But I think a lot of people are looking for community, particularly while we're all, you know, in lockdown and everything's changing. So that's certainly something that I've been craving and get a lot of satisfaction from. So
absolutely, yes.
What about you?
Absolutely, like just on that Zoom call, this is just another thing for you guys. If you obviously you know about Zoom, but if you haven't used it, it's just that technology that's there and free, and the ability to be plugged in with our business with people around the globe to really just, you know, be part of that community. It's such a magical feeling, and knowing that everyone is thriving in amongst this time is a great feeling. The other aspect to the platform, the NC platform that we partnered with, is the ability to have products that people need, and also the ability that they're all drop shipped straight to the front door of people in over 50 different countries. So that is a magical thing. People aren't needing to leave the house to do this. It's all from your home, which is beautiful. You know, I've got customers all around the world, and also brand partners and affiliates all around the world, and it is just as usual, which is great.
Yeah, so that ability not to, have to handle the shipment at all, but also the payment. So it all is kind of seamless. And this is our platform partner, NSE, who are amazing. They've been around for over 35 years, publicly listed company, and they are an incredible platform. And they're, really on a mission now to become the world's leading business opportunity platform where people can participate however they want. There are people who do it part-time, people who do it full-time, and that's right, customized entrepreneurship, as it says on that. So you can choose how you do it. And we have people, I was on a call the other evening with you, Ange, as well, with our mentoring program, and it's just so amazing to see the different types of people, backgrounds, nationalities, ages, languages spoken, all of that sort of thing. So people from wherever, and all of those people have a desire not only to transform their financial outcomes, but to help other people to do the same. And I think that's what really excites me about it. So our partnering platform, NSE, is doing everything they can to help the entrepreneur. Whereas a lot of platform companies like, Airbnb at the moment, they obviously that's not going very well. I am an Airbnb host on the island here. Uber, of course, that's, people that must be really hurting for a lot of Uber drivers. So yeah, but our platform is, they're thinking, how can we help you? How can we keep it all seamless and up and running, which is really great. So I think there's no better time really to start an online business. And if you are considering that, then think about the digital architecture and infrastructure behind it, and go through the SWOT analysis of your strengths and weaknesses, but also what the opportunities and the threats might be out there. So what do you think, Ange?
Absolutely. Like, certainly if you're sitting there and you go, I've got my own business, I definitely need to adapt that, but I'm looking for a plan B for more certainty. There is no better time than to kick that into gear than now. Well, as we mentioned, we've got time and we've got the technology at our fingertips. And it is about, ensuring that you've got all those things in check, the distribution channel. You've got your own strengths, like you've got that resilience and you've got that persistence and you've got that growth mindset. Certainly, it is an excellent time to be earning some extra income, to develop a plan B, and also to step up and choose to thrive. We have a very captive audience around the world that is looking for help online. So all eyes are online, all eyes are looking at reviewing and assessing their circumstances. So there's no better time than now to really step up into that. And so who do you choose to be throughout this? So if any of this has resonated with you, or if you're wanting to explore this more and find out more and how this can really blend in with your lifestyle and your life, I would say reach out to Nickie or I, or someone that's invited you today, and have a discovery call. Nickie, what are your thoughts around that?
Oh, I've been, yeah, I think you have as well. We've been booking lots of calls with people who just want to have a conversation about what's possible. Is it a fit for them? And we always come from a place of how can we add value, whether or not you choose to participate on our platform or not. I love to leave people inspired with ideas that they can take forward into life or into another business that, maybe that they are optimistic about. And I just say, go for it. Just go for it. There are amazing opportunities out there for people who are willing to learn new things and transform themselves. And, for that, you have to be an optimist, I believe. So, Here's to the optimists.
Yeah, cheers to that. Just on that note, actually, you know, if you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I'd like to find out more, some tools around moving to online. Nikki and I actually have a little business hack sheet, online hack sheet of some apps and applications, so you can really just have that at your fingertips. So if you're keen to have those and have that business online hack sheet, we're happy to send that through to you as well. So you just reach out. So I wish all of you a fantastic Wednesday afternoon and look forward to having conversations with you to discover what's possible for you. And thanks so much, Nikki. It's been lovely collaborating with you again. Yeah. And Andrea, great to see you. And Davina, I can see you there. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
And thank you so much for your time.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye.